So what I'm going to talk about is how to stop overthinking, and should you? Well, a lot of people come to me and they ask, it's really hard for me to think positive or to manifest what I want because I have this problem with overthinking. I overthink everything. So the first thing people want to know is, how do I stop overthinking? Well, the short answer is you really can't. Well, you can, but maybe not as easily as you hope. Because the reality of it is most overthinking, or people that overthink, their brain is wired to do that. And that can actually be a positive thing. Everybody has a different processing system. They have a different way of processing information. You know, and that's not something really you can change or rewire. So a lot of people go through so many struggles trying to stop overthinking. So what I usually suggest to the people that come to me is, of course, anything can be done. You can retrain your brain in certain ways, but there's a lot easier of a way to do it. It may not be the easiest way or seem totally easy, but it's not so much about stopping your overthinking, because overthinking can be very powerful. All right, what you want to do is shift what you overthink. Okay, so, or if you have to think about a specific subject, shift how you're overthinking it. Okay, so overthinking is actually really good for your brain. It really, and it helps you evaluate things. And like I said, people that are overthinkers, that's just how their brain is wired. No different than someone that doesn't overthink and just kind of lets things, unfold or whatever. But the problem with overthinking is when we get into a subject that we have a lot of beliefs around, or a certain way of overthinking it, that's what kind of traps us into a pattern of creating from a place of lack or a place too much around beliefs. We end up trying to fill in spaces, creating stories. I did a whole video about creating stories, filling in the blanks, filling in the details that you don't actually know fact for. So when I talk about changing the way you overthink or changing what you're overthinking, let's first go over the way you overthink. If you have a subject that you have to process, the best thing to do is, before you go into that subject of processing that information, to really prep yourself to consciously think of that subject in a positive light, to find the positives of it. If you can't go totally positive because it's a really difficult situation, at least take it to a general place where you're not in that negative standpoint. If you do that, and everything that is coming out that you're thinking about, you're seeing in a more positive perspective, you can overthink all day. Okay? Because as long as you are thinking about it in a positive perspective, the more you think about it in that positive perspective, the better it's going to be. If you have a subject that it's better that you don't think about it all because you can't really find anything positive about it, which everybody knows, I always say there's a lesson and a blessing in every situation. Okay, however, if there is this subject you're just not ready to tackle yet, and you just don't know how to see it in a positive light, again, we talk about how you can only live in one vibration, either high vibration or low vibration. So there's really difficult subjects that you can't think of in a good vibration. You're better off just taking your focus off of it, because not thinking of it at all is better than thinking of it in a negative light. And if you can change your perspective to something positive and get into a positive vibration, that positive vibration is going to affect those more difficult situations as well. Just like if you focused on that and in a negative light, it will in turn affect maybe some things that are going good in your life. Okay, so the other way to overthink in a constructive way is with visualization. So if you find yourself overthinking and you really need to stop overthinking something negative, to shift it to your imagination and pick a subject that you can envision, you can, again, overthink that all day, and really that's going to help you manifest. So, you know, overthinking can be a very positive thing, and it's not necessarily stopping overthinking, because you can use it as a very good tool. Just think, if you take something that you're trying to manifest and that you're envisioning and you overthink it to where you're overthinking the happiness of it, the desire of it, the good parts of it, you can overthink all day. That is just going to add to your manifestation, right? Or again, like I said, if you are overthinking a subject that maybe you feel like the more you think about it, the worse it gets, and you feel like you're creating a not so good story for yourself, the trick there is to overthink, just switch the way you're overthinking to a more positive, or at least a general thought process, and then continue to overthink with that. So it's not necessarily that you've got to learn how to stop overthinking. In fact, it can be an amazing tool, and it can really actually benefit you in manifesting and problem solving and all of that. You know, a lot of people, like I said, try to just stop overthinking. It's nearly impossible. And really what happens when you try to stop overthinking, you get discouraged, you beat yourself up, or you just, for some of us, overthinking is a pastime and we enjoy it. So you can actually put lack to your situation by trying to force yourself not to overthink. So if you try these tips that I suggested, you may see how you can shift some negative overthinking that may be blocking you or preventing you from getting what you desire. Making that shift, you can actually use your overthinking to your advantage and actually use it in a productive way to actually enhance your manifestation or what you're trying to accomplish. Okay.